this is Dr. Rick and my brother Don, and for another edition of Enriched Relationships, where we spend time talking to you about principles for healthy relationships and meaningful life together and those that you love and are close to. So, Don, what do you want to talk about today?
I just want to tell you a cool joke.
A cool joke?
Yeah, man, it's a cool joke. So, have you ever noticed how all weddings have a few things that are very common? Example,
they got like rings. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Rings.
Rings.
Not nose rings, right?
No. Like okay. Before you get the engagement ring,
yeah.
right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You get the engagement ring, and then you get the wedding ring.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, and then you get the suffer ring. Engagement ring, wedding ring, stuff.
Suffering.
Yeah, suffering.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I liked it.
Well, that's great. I'm talking about three things too myself, but there's no
okay.
rings.
All right.
So one is that all weddings seem to be about the same as far as a few things. Like they go down the aisle, they get to the altar, and then somebody sings a hymn.
So they walk down the aisle.
Yeah.
They get to the altar, and somebody sings a hymn.
So think about that: aisle, altar, hymn. I'll alter him. I'll alter him.
I will alter him.
Yeah.
Like I'll change him. That's pretty good. I like that one.
That's what they think, guys.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about, Willis? I'll alter him?
Yeah, that's what they
think. So you're saying that people actually want to change the other person?
Yeah.
How would you talk more to that?
Well, it's especially in a marriage, it seems like, oh, I'm on my best behavior during the dating time, and then as soon as I get married, all those things I didn't like, it's time to change them.
Oh, like you, of course, because my wife had a weight problem when she was a kid, and she's in great shape now, but I was in good shape when we married me. But because she had those issues with
that was a long
food,
time ago.
That was a long time ago. Man, she used to try and change my eating habits. Like the time I came in and she was fixing tuna salad, and I happened to notice there was yogurt, not mayonnaise, sitting out by the tuna salad. Oh, yeah. So I kind of looked at her and said, you aren't putting yogurt in that tuna, are you? And Luella said, let me just fix it. And I said, well, you can fix it, but I don't want yogurt in my tuna. She said, well, you've been eating it that way for a week. And I said, well, it stops today. She's trying to change me. She's trying to control what I ate.
Man.
I hated it. Guess what I did? I quit eating tuna that day. I haven't eaten any since. I ain't doing it. Yeah, because when you try and change somebody, you're going to be in a power struggle, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those where, it's not that we don't want the other person to grow, but that other person can want us to grow and change just as much. So who am I, in my righteousness, to sit there and try to force somebody else to change when I have just as many things myself I need to improve on?
Well, let me ask you a question then, Don. Think about this then. If I am trying to alter him, if I'm trying to alter her, is that love? If you're trying to change someone who, number one, may not need to change, isn't ready to change, isn't willing to change, is it loving to try and change someone, in a sense, against their will?
Now, Rick, you use two different words, and so you bring up a good point, because you use two words. The first one,
I have PhD, that's why I bring up good points. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, he does. And
right.
By the way,
hole digger.
By the way, he's better looking than me, so that's fine.
We learned that in the last one.
Yes, we did.
And we're right about that. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, you're right.
Okay.
So the first word he used was, he just said, does it show love? And if you get under the covers, a person wanting to change somebody may believe they're doing it out of love. Okay? So let me start there. But then Rick used another word. He said, is it loving? And it's not loving, because if it's not well received, it is not loving at all. And by the way, if we become emotionally mature and we would take time in our minds to go through, well, if I say this, how do I think she's really going to respond, or how is he really going to respond? And I go through this whole conversation in my mind before I ever have it, I would find out whether it would really be received loving.
I got it. So what you're saying is it love? You're referring to motivation. The motivation is pure, it's good.
Yeah.
The motivation comes out of love for the individual.
Yes.
However, the meaning, the behavior itself is not loving, because it's coming across as controlling.
That's correct.
I got it.
I'll give you a story. So the psychiatrist was telling me that a lady came to see him, and she was going over all her problems.
This is kind of like one of those, I have a friend.
I have a friend.
This must be his doctor. Go ahead.
Okay, so except it would have had to be one of my other personalities, because I did say it was a female.
The one they call Princess?
I guess so.
Why don't you introduce Princess to our audience? You all will love Princess. Introduce Princess to our audience. She'll be here in future ones.
I don't think so.
Oh, come on.
So
one day you'll be able to see Princess.
yes, if you're part of the family, one day you'll see the princess personality. But for right now,
If you guys help us go big, you'll be a part of the family and you will see Princess.
so if you keep watching, one day you may see Princess. And by the way, it's a riot. Princess does have an alcoholic problem. Okay, now I want to talk about the fact that the psychiatrist was telling me about the lady who came to see him, and she had all these problems, and so she was depressed and overweight, and she was smoking. She had all these problems, and what she did was she told my psychiatrist friend, it's because of these people who are doing these things. And the psychiatrist said, "Oh, I understand now. You bring them to me, I counsel them, and you'll be fine." And she said, "No." And he said, "I agree." In other words, he wanted her to see that it was her, and she needed to change. Because we can't make other people change, and if they did, it's not going to fix us.
I think our audience understands that if you want to make someone change, you go to like QT, 7-Eleven, hand them a $1 bill, and they'll give you change.
I'll tell you this, for most situations, that's the only kind of change you ought to give somebody.
Because guess what? We get too stubborn and resistant, and we don't want to change, and we don't want to grow. Is that right?
Yeah, this thing that says every time I point my finger at somebody, there's 3 pointing back at me.
Yeah.
I think the fact is I need to be looking at me rather than other people.
And also look behind the person's behavior. Look to their motives. Sometimes what they're doing may not be loving, but it is done out of love. And I think we need to honor the fact that though it may not be loving, they do it because they care. That creates empathy on our part for them. And so, Don, why don't you close us out?
It will be a very simple closeout. Good night.
Thank you.